Happy New Year, everyone. Akemashite omedetou gozaimasu. I'm really jazzed about today's session because it's traditionally not the type of stuff that I tend to moderate. The topic being cool Japan. For someone of my generation who grew up in the 60s and 70s, Japan then was not cool. Made in Japan was the moniker, and that meant, apologies to Toyota, but boxy cars, cheap portable radios, that was the image back then. Smelly erasers, those white things. Actually, they worked better than the red, pink American ones, but they had this faint smell. But considering that, not only has Japan changed over the years, its reputation for quality and producing top-notch goods, but we Americans have also changed. Because I used to be embarrassed about being a Japanese American because, partly, of the products that I'd seen that were sold in the stores. And at the same time, America has become more diverse. We've become more accepting of foreign cultures, less xenophobic, and so have I. And so when I went to Japan, I thought I was first going to study the traditional arts, Noh, Japanese gardens. I was planning to study in Kyoto and Osaka. Instead, when I went to Akihabara in Tokyo, I fell into this pit hole of modernity, heard Matsuda Seiko on a Pioneer TV screen, and then watched TV shows like Danjo Shirin Natsumonogatari, Tokyo Love Story, and then it was all downhill from there. Listening to Ayaka, Matsuda Seiko, but never AKB, that's where I stopped. Now, we Americans are quite familiar with what's considered cool in Japan right now, everything from anime to architecture, rorigoshiku to ramen. And when this yonsei named Keizo Shimamoto developed this ramen burger and took it to his native Los Angeles, more than 1,000 people lined up to buy that burger. He currently sells it in Brooklyn. You've got to wait in the line for 2 hours, and that's every day. And he went to Japan to study ramen before he came up with this concept. And thinking of that, here at the Japan Society, just a few years ago, Mr. Sakurai, our president, had this idea of doing J-cation, an open house. We offered free food, free Japanese culture, everything from cosplay to J-pop. And more than 3,000 people came in on that one day. And which leads me to today. I'm happy to say that today we have a sold-out audience. Urikire. A full house for our guest speaker. And our guest today is Tomomi Inada. She's a cabinet minister, and she's in charge of the Cool Japan strategy. She's trained as an attorney. She's served in Japan's parliament since 2005, representing her native prefecture of Fukui. She's proud of Fukui. She often wears things of Fukui, including eyeglasses, I'm told. She's very proud of it. And she's very powerful in political circles, too. She once directed the Judicial Affairs Division of the ruling Liberal Democratic Party's Influential Policy Research Council. She's got a very broad portfolio. It's amazing how much time she has even for the Cool Japan strategy, given that she's a minister in charge of everything from regulatory to administrative reform, as well as the Challenge Again initiative. And those are just some of the things in her broad portfolio. Now, this being Cool Japan is the theme. Social media is the watchword of the day. Feel free to tweet what you hear, what you like, what you don't like in today's lecture and in the Q&A. Our handle is @Japan Society. If you don't like something about me, it's @Freddy the Cat. That's my handle. Freddy with an I-E, Cat with a K. That's my CNN colleagues gave me that nickname. And if you want to just through Japan, I guess it'd be Cool Japan would be your hashtag. At any rate, we look forward to the talk today given by Minister Inada. The topic is the Cool Japan strategy, sharing the unique culture of Japan with the world. And one thing that you might be looking forward to is, I'm dressed as a traditional corporate stiff with a necktie. And I'm thinking about taking it off because where do you see Japan's minister? Minister Inada.
Hello. I'm very happy to be here with you. My name is Tomomi Inada, and I'm the minister in charge of Cool Japan strategy. The phrase Cool Japan has been used worldwide in recent years among fans of Japan and its culture. It's not as if there is a legally binding definition, but essentially it's a phrase used to describe Japan commodities, contents, and cultural products that are considered cool by non-Japanese persons. Personally, I view Cool Japan as covering the widest possible range of appealing things about Japan. And I hope we can introduce all these wonderful aspects of Japanese culture to as many people worldwide as possible. Japan has much to offer that is considered cool abroad. For example, films, TV programs, characters, video games, fashion, food, and tourism. Here are some examples of Japanese cultural products that have succeeded in making a mark overseas. The proverb, "A picture is worth 1,000 words," is familiar in Japan as well. I believe there is much about Japan's appeal that is difficult to express in words. So, I have brought a short video illustrating it. Let's have a look.
Japan to the world. Japan to the world.
You have just seen some examples of Japanese science and technology, food, pop culture, scenery, traditional culture, but I believe the essence of cool that ties them all together lies in Japanese people's noted attention to detail. I would like to present to you another short video on this topic.
デザインはもちろんなんですけど、日本人って本当に他の国の人たちはこだわらないようなところにこだわるので、形が全部均一だとか、塗る厚みが全部均一だとか、日本人が こういう細かいアートだったりとかを好んで、多分日本でこうネイルアートっていうのが大きくなってたんだと思うんですけど、そしてまた今日本からそういうのが海外にこう発信してるような感じだと思います。
このように入りますと自動的に便座が開いてくれます。この便器は温水洗浄便座が一緒にくっついております。乾燥機能、そしてパワーダッシュ機能も一緒についております。人が入ってきますと自動的にお水が流れ、汚れがつきにくくなっております。また洗浄後も自動的にきれい除菌水が流れ、お掃除がとってもしやすくなりました。
Now, let us return to the slide presentation. The various aspects of Japanese culture which I mentioned earlier are widely admired, but the figures here show that their popularity has not necessarily led to business success. Take the contents market, for example. While the global contents market is growing at an average rate of 6% annually, the Japanese contents market has shown zero or negative growth over the past few years. I think the main problem is the low percentage of Japanese contents revenue coming from overseas. For Japanese contents, no more than 3% of revenue comes from overseas, a very low percentage compared to the United States with 14%. The US market is 5 times larger than that of Japan in terms of size. Let's take a look at the tourism and cuisine aspects of Cool Japan. These graphs show the number of visitors to Japan from overseas and the value of the nation's exports of agriculture and food products. I have a question for everybody. How many people from other countries do you think visit Japan every year? If we compare the nation-by-nation statistics for 2012, we see that Japan is 33rd in terms of the number of visitors from abroad, just below the UAE, the Czech Republic, and Switzerland. I believe that considering what Japan has to offer, this is an extremely low ranking. To compare the figures with those of the United States once again, the US ranks second, and with 8 times the number of foreign visitors as Japan. 10 years ago, Japan launched the Visit Japan campaign, aiming to boost the number of people who come to Japan from abroad. However, until 2012, the number of visitors remained flat or decreased due to recession such as the global financial crisis of 2008 and the Great East Japan earthquake of 2011. In 2013, the annual target of 10 million visitors was finally met thanks to the policies of the Abe administration. I'm sure some of you in the audience are fond of sushi and other Japanese food. According to a survey by a Japanese governmental institution, Japanese cuisine is currently the world's most popular, with Italian cuisine in second place. In 2011, Italy's exports of agriculture and food products totaled about $43.4 billion, while Japan's came to only around $5.1 billion. The Abe administration has also made efforts to boost exports in 10 categories, resulting in a 23% increase over the previous year in 2013. Government ministries continue to make efforts with targets set at 30 million overseas visitors by 2030 and $10.3 billion in agriculture and food products exports by 2020. However, as you can see, there is still a long way to go. As we have seen, Japan's challenges lie in turning the nation's cultural appeal into viable industries that contribute to economic recovery and regional revitalization. This will, in turn, contribute to the evolution of Japanese culture and the gain of more admirers overseas. Until now, there has not always been adequate cooperation between various sectors and governmental agencies, and as a result, efforts to share the culture of Japan with the world have not been sufficiently effective. To address this, the Abe administration gave me the honor of being appointed as the first minister in charge of Cool Japan strategy. In this post, my aim is to maximize the effectiveness of this strategy, which has thus far fallen short of its goals. Since being appointed minister, I have sought to promote cooperation among various government agencies and industrial sectors. Thus far, they have been pursuing efforts separately, and unfortunately, their cooperative efforts were hindered by the vertical divisions that were deeply rooted in Japan's governance. My goal is to make the Cool Japan strategy a team effort that unites the entire nation. I have also been chairing the Cool Japan Promotion Council, which examines and proposes ways of enhancing our ability to convey Japan's unique culture to the world. The Cool Japan Promotion Council, of which I am chairperson, has 7 members from private sector who play prominent roles in Japanese culture, as well as government officials, including vice ministers from related ministries. A subcommittee on pop culture has also been established under the Promotion Council to incorporate the viewpoints of young people who are spearheading the progress of manga, video games, and other pop culture, and those contents constitute one of Japan's greatest strengths. The subcommittee's 4 members are all active on the front lines of popular media such as cinema and manga. Its recommendations were fully reflected on the final action plan of the Cool Japan Promotion Council. In Japan, there is a custom of writing a short phrases that describe your thoughts or feelings on squares of thick paper known as shikishi. I asked the Cool Japan Promotion Council's 7 samurai, private sector members, to write their own ideas about cool Japan on pieces of shikishi. And these became the 7 keywords in the basic approach to implementation of the Cool Japan strategy. At the meeting of the Cool Japan Promotion Council on May 28, 2013, I announced the basic approach to implementation of the Cool Japan strategy, and the Council formulated a specific action plan for enhancing the dissemination of Cool Japan. The main point of the basic approach is that the Cool Japan strategy is not the exclusive territory of a few specific people, but it should rather be something on which we work together. I want everyone in Japan to take a fresh look around and rediscover things they love. Cool Japan should be a people's movement reaching across society and broadcasting Japan's message to the world. There are 19 items on the action plan. Here are a few of them. Promoting cooperation among sectors such as food, fashion, manufacturing, contents. Effective utilization of the Cool Japan Fund, established with $485 million in government funds and $29 million in private sector investment. Promotion by the Prime Minister and the Minister in charge of Cool Japan strategy. Encouraging the broad participation of Japanese people. The Japan Revitalization Strategy, formulated in June 2013, reflects decision-making at the highest levels of government. It requires positioning of Cool Japan as the national strategy and strengthening of its various initiatives. It also calls for effective dissemination of Japan's attractions, including Japanese food, sake, fashion, manufacturing, contents, and traditional culture in accordance with the action plan development by the Cool Japan Promotion Council. Now, I would like to describe some of the specific actions we have taken thus far in accordance with the action plan. First of all, in May 2013, I took part in cultural outreach efforts at the African Fair 2013, an official event held during the Tokyo International Conference on African Development. African Fair 2013 was an event at which African and Japanese products were exhibited and business information was provided. The Japanese product display area enhanced the Cool Japan theme. Prime Minister Abe and I myself took part in the opening ceremony, where we engaged in outreach to top governmental officials and business executives from many African nations. My birthplace, that is Fukui Prefecture, produces a large amount of premium quality fabric, which is often used not only in Japanese apparel, but also in luxury brands regularly featured at Paris Fashion Week. At the African Fair 2013, I wore a stylish dress inspired by Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. And that dress was created by a young designer from Fukui Prefecture, using fabrics also produced in Fukui. Attendees to TICAD commented that they felt optimistic about future business partnership between Japan and Africa, and the event gave a major boost to Japan-Africa relations. I also introduced various aspects of Japanese culture at Tokyo Crazy Kawaii Paris, held in Paris in September. For some time, the Japan Expo has been held in Paris. It is organized primarily by French corporations and individuals, and presents various aspects of Japanese pop culture, especially subculture. Tokyo Crazy Kawaii Paris, by contrast, was organized largely by Japanese corporations, held for the first time in 2013. It featured a wide range of Japanese culture and industries, including cuisine, music, fashion, video games, and traditional crafts. I attended the event and also took the opportunity to appeal some aspects of Japan's culture, such as cuisine and fashion. I believe the point of Cool Japan is not forcing our culture on people from other countries, but rather joining together in a society-wide movement to show the world what our nation has to offer. In this regard, I was impressed with how French people willingly participated in the event side by side with exhibitors and performers from Japan. I wore two styles, the traditional kimono and the gothic Lolita look. And that look has earned the admiration of young people worldwide as representing the Japanese kawaii culture. I also took part in a dance event and danced alongside French attendees. They kindly complimented, saying, "Minister, kawaii." We all shared in the fun of the event. I think it was a marvelous way to convey Japan's culture to people overseas. The Gothic Lolita style originated in Japan, and some believe it has its roots in the complex, multi-layered Juni Hitoe kimono. This kimono was worn by ladies of the court over 1,000 years ago. I was happy to help promote this unique aspect of our culture. Here, I should note, however, that Gothic Lolita fashion is the province of young women in Japan, and it is very unusual for a mature woman such as myself to wear it, much less a cabinet minister. I would like to describe the Cool Japan Promotion Council's regional initiatives. In order to broaden and deepen public recognition of Cool Japan domestically, it is necessary to propagate the initiatives not only in Tokyo, but also nationwide. For this reason, we have begun convening regional Cool Japan Promotion Council meetings. The first of these meetings was held last month in December in Kyoto. Kyoto was ancient capital of Japan for 1,000 years, and now the city is still famous for its cultural and historical treasures. We will continue holding Cool Japan Promotion Council meetings nationwide, promote partnerships between various industries and regions of Japan, and encourage the entire nation to participate in the promotion of Cool Japan. We will step up Cool Japan initiatives further and boldly introduce new measures without fear or failure. In order to achieve this purpose, the watchword must be design. I believe design transcends language barriers and exerts an universal appeal. And unlike fine art, it plays a direct role in making our lives more convenient. The Cool Japan strategy is just getting started, and I look forward to presenting its new development to you in the future. Finally, I would like to address a story which I think is one of the symbolic topics in Cool Japan strategy. In Japan, there is a famous shrine named Ise Jingu, where we worship sun goddess Amaterasu Omikami in Japanese. The Ise Jingu holds a very unique ceremony called Shikigu Sennu, Shikinen Sengu. In this ceremony, Jingu building, the sanctuary for God, is reconstructed every 20 years, and the enshrined objects are accordingly transferred from the old to the new buildings. Shikinen Sengu has its origin in AD 690. This means the ceremony has over 1300 years of history. The origin of Shikinen Sengu in Shinto, a traditional Japanese religion, is that things must always be kept new and purified, which represents eternity. I believe this thought really symbolizes the way we have developed a unique Japanese culture. We Japanese have maintained our tradition, openly accepting other cultures in the world. So, to everybody in this audience, I would like to say, never forget to visit Ise Jingu when you come to Japan. I'm sure that you will like it. Thank you very much.
I was wondering, we had at Japan Society, one of the most successful shows we'd had was by Murakami Takashi Murakami, about the flat aesthetic. Super flat is what we called it. But some of the images that I saw there, they were anime or manga inspired, would be what in the US or many Western countries would be deemed pornographic, highly sexualized. And I'm wondering, as a Cool Japan minister, are there limitations to what the Japanese government will promote in terms of what's called Cool Japan?
スーパーフラッグという話があったんですが、アニメや漫画の中にちょっとポルノチックのようなものがあったりして、政府のこの後押しというところで何かそういった少し取り締まりというような形、取り締まりというか規制をかけるSB戦の仕方というのもあるんでしょうか。
It's a difficult question.
Good question to a difficult question.
むしろそういう規制というよりもいい取り組みを選んで、そして、出していくということなので、いろんな観点があろうかと思いますけれども、外国から見て、クールというものを選んでいきたいと思います。
Yes, it's a difficult question and a good question. At the same time, we don't want to restrict, to disseminate or send messages the Cool Japan to the overseas countries. However, we like to pick up, what is really attractive to foreigners, and then we want to support what their, the activities in Japan side.
If it's what foreigners consider cool. I read this on the Japan National Tourism Organization site that according to a Japanese broadcaster's poll, the #1 thing that foreigners coming to Japan thought they were thrilled with, what they thought was cool, were toilets.
Yeah.
The washlets.
Yes.
Do you see more of a promotion of that for the Totos and the Inakses of the world?
しかしいろいろアンケートを取ってくると日本に来る外人の中で一番人気なものはTOTOのウォシュレットっていうトイレなんですけども、そうするとこのトイレのプロモーションというのもするんでしょうか。
It's good point.
Wow, I'm really going the pendulum, huh?
私もそれを思いました。ただそれを提案をして外国でウォシュレットトイレ、例えば日本だったら高速道路のトイレにもそれから電車の中のトイレにもウォシュレットがついてます。言っちゃっていいですか？
いいですね。
でしかし、外国で、やるとそれを広めていこうと思うとですね、盗まれちゃうと言われています。で、だからできないんだと外国の方から聞いたんです。で、私はですね、日本のすごくクールなところ、外国から見てクールなところっていうのが、鬼押し出しにある自動販売機なんです。ちょっとすいません。
Yes, I was thinking about to promote this washlet to overseas countries. You know, in Japan, we see that this washlet is a super automotive toilet bowl and freeway toilet, and also like the toilet in a train as well. However, when I told this my idea to promote this toilet in overseas countries, they said, "Don't do it because everybody wants to steal it. So be careful." So this story is from the non-Japanese people told me before, and then I just think about one other idea to promote for the Cool Japan thing, which is vending machine in Oni-Oshidashi resort area.
なぜかというと、鬼押し出しってほとんど人がいないところなんですけど、そんな人がいないところでも100円入れたらジュースが飲める。そんな人がいないところでもその自動販売機を壊して100円を取る人が誰もいない。それがクールだと言われてるんです。
Sorry, Oni-Oshidashi is not the resort area, but Oni-Oshidashi is more like the countryside area nobody wants to go. But if we see that this vending machine and then 100 yen, you can get the juice anytime. But nobody wants to break it and to get the coin from this vending machine. How safe in Japan? This is really cool, isn't it?
Ambassador Sakura, I think we have to have a guard outside our bathroom there with a TOTO washlet. Japan, by the way, has the highest per capita in the world of jidou hanbaikis, vending machines. This I know from having reported on it before. I'm going to ask one more question before I throw it open to the audience, so we still have 15 minutes left. That picture you had of Ise Jingu made me think about this. Harvard professor Joseph Nye has said that this is a good example of soft power, culture. And he said, he was here at Japan Society actually, and I moderated the discussion, that Japan has probably in Asia is the leading nation when it comes to soft power resources because of its art, its music, its fashion, its food. But he also said there are limitations to Japan's soft power. There are limitations because he said, unlike Germany, the issues dealing with the past, the foreign aggression in the 1930s. And therefore, he says there's a lack of admiration of Japan by its Asian neighbors. So, I was looking at this, he said, thanks for bringing up Ise Jingu. It was reminded of the visits, for example, by Abe Sori, Prime Minister Abe, controversially, to the Yasukuni Shrine just a week or two ago. I don't know about your background or whether you make the visits as well, but wouldn't that detract from Japan? Is politics separate from culture, or does that hurt, as Professor Nye says, the past, the cool Japan that you wish to promote?
私も書いてありますけども、伊勢神宮のことを見て考えたんですけども、ハーバードの教授の方から言われて、日本はソフトカルチャーですとか、素晴らしいカルチャーがあるんですけども、そういったリソースがたくさんあるけれども、しかしそれを広めるには限界があると。どうしてかというと、1930年代のような形で日本がやってきたことを外交面で謝ってもいないし、そういった政治家の問題があるので、例えば安倍総理が靖国神社の方に参拝しました。そういったことも好意的に受け取られていない国々もたくさんある。そういったものがこの日本に来るジャパンを特にアジアの国にするというのは非常に問題になりませんか。
どんどん難しい質問になりましたね。
Your question is getting harder and harder to answer it.
It's my last one.
よかった。
I'm relieved.
CQ もあるかもしれない。
確かに、歴史の認識の問題とか、あと東アジアの国々の人々の関係とか、とてもディフィカルトプロブレムがあります。とても難しい問題があって、でもそれとは別に、例えば漫画とかアニメとかですね、そして、伊勢神宮におけるすごく神秘的なものというのは、それはそれでまた東アジアの人々も含めて世界中に私は受け入れられてきて、総理の靖国参拝に対する総理の気持ちもですね、たくさんの言語で、多くの世界の人々に発信をされているので、粘り強く説明をしていく必要があるなと感じています。
Yes, so I think we have this, the very unfortunate the past history, and then I understand that feeling of especially in the Southeast Asian countries people. However, we have a very good, the other culture represented by manga or anime or other the cultural cool Japan things. So we would like to continuously to send the messages, and then Ise Jingu, Ise Shrine, I told you before, already accepted a lot of different countries' people and many visitors there. So as you mentioned about Mr. Abe's the visit to Yasukuni Shrine, many people are against it. However, we would like to continuously and then patiently disseminate and then send the message of what is really the feelings about the Yasukuni Shrine.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground from toilets to you. And, I didn't even know I was going there to visit. But I'd like to entertain your questions from the audience. We've got a little over 10 minutes, 12, 13 minutes. Please raise your hand and identify yourself, your name and affiliation. And please try to keep your questions short. Otherwise, I will cut you off. Okay. In the middle, second row, gentlemen.
First, I'd like to just say I disagree with Katayama-san regarding the sexualization of anime and manga, and actually relates to this is, in terms of Japanese literature and pop culture, there is strong female characters that you don't find in the United States in some of its entertainment. But does that then contradict would people then find a certain contradiction that in Japan, women's roles aren't as elevated as you would say in the literature? Would people say, is this real or is that real? So would people find a conflict between that, between what's presented and then what actually occurs in the country?
先ほどが田中さんが言ったように、漫画のアニメの中には少しポルノチックなものとかセックスの、性的なものとかがあるといって女性がなされているようなこともあるとちょっと言われたんですが、でも私が考えているのはこのポップカルチャーの中では女性は強いイメージがあって、日本の女性はなかなか最近は強いということがあるので、それが実際の漫画の中のイメージと大きなギャップになっていたりするんですが、どっちが今の日本の女性なのか考えたりしてしまいます。日本の女性は私はだんだん強くなっているというか、昔から強いと思います。Actually, the Japanese women is very strong, from the beginning of the history. それでよかった。
In the literary terms, I think Murasaki Shikibu wrote the very first novel, Tale of Genji, right, as a woman who did that. Let's go to the left-hand side of our audience, the lady with the in red.
Hi, I'm Alexis. I'm from the Asia Society, and I have a question about agriculture in Japan. I know that Japan imports lots of agricultural goods from China, and I know there's talk of agricultural reforms in Japan, and I'm wondering how the ministry intends to increase the awareness of Japanese food if there is not enough agriculture produced in Japan to export to foreign markets.
日本には随分と中国からの製品を輸入しているんですけども、これから日本の方から輸出するということでクールジャパンの一環として、それじゃ足りない、日本で作っている農産物は足りないんじゃないですか、
輸出する分についてはどうでしょうか。
いやむしろどんどん輸出をしていきたいと思ってます。例えば日本ではお米をですね、生産日本の主食であるお米を生産調整という形で、なるべく作らないようにするということもありますけど、でも美味しい日本のお米とかまた美味しい日本の果物とかをですねどんどん世界で食べてもらう工夫が私は必要だと思います。
Yes, but we have a very much good taste of the rice and the fruits that made in Japan. Of course, we are still adjusting the production, the size of the rice, but we would like to send the messages that we have such a very nice, tasty the fruits and the vegetables in Japan, and we can just export it to all over the world where it's needed.
で日本では自給率がすごく少ないって言われてますけど、それは食べ物が足りないということではなくて、日本の来られると分かりますけども、すごくたくさんの種類の料理があります。だからそれでいろんなものも輸入をしているということがやっぱり原因だというふうに思います。
So many people are saying that the Japanese, the food self-satisfaction ratio is very low. However, that's the reason why because we are such a different type of cuisine in Japan, so some of them, that ingredients we do need to import from overseas. That's the reason why we have a low ratio.
大臣、魚沼さん、コシヒカリお願いします。
コシヒカリの発祥の地は福井なんです、実は。
Actually, コシヒカリ is born in Fukui, my hometown.
Always plugging Fukui. Fukui. All right, let's go to the back. Hand up there in white. Yes.
Hi, my name is Miki Arihara. I work for Sony Music, and I especially want to ask you something about the entertainment business. You just mentioned you export a lot of contents that are accepted a lot in America, overseas, but how do you define that? ソニーミュージックのエリハラと申します。先ほど皆さんがおっしゃったのが海外で受けるコンテンツをできるだけ多く輸出したいということなんですが、どういう観点で各国々のどういう方にそういうのを聞いてこういうものを輸出した方がいいのかっていうことを調べているのかなっていうのをちょっとお伺いしたいですが。
思いもがけないものが海外で、受けていて、それを実は日本人はなかなか分かっていないということも事実です。でどうやってその海外から受けるものをですね、見つけていくのかっていうのはやっぱり試行錯誤になると思いますけど、でも先ほどのプレゼンの中でも言いましたが、いろんな地域での日本の中でもいろんな地域で、その会議を開いて取り組みをとかいいものをですね探していくし、今考えていることの一つにそういうクールジャパンに関する提案を日本だけでなくて世界各国から提案を受け付けると、インターネットで受け付けるということをぜひやっていきたいなと思っています。
Yes, it's really difficult, and then the key point is we like to pick up, that we Japanese not realize which is so cool from the point of the non-Japanese point of view. So we like to help, especially for the regional, the Cool Japan the movement, to help them what really is very much attractive the possessions, but not really we don't understand that is so attractive to non-Japanese people. This kind of support is very much needed, and also I like to get all this information from non-Japanese point of view, what is cool about Cool Japan, and we are now accepting that internet, the proposals or ideas from all over the world.
That's true. Reminds me, Minister Inada, when we say you don't know what's going to become a hit. Back in the early 1960s, Sakamoto Q became a big hit with Monster, with Sukiyaki, which rode to the top of the charts. And yet Sony Music, for all the money they pushed for Seiko Matsuda to become a hit, pairing with Donny Hathaway still really wasn't a hit here. Utada Hikaru came out here twice, tried, and really didn't do it. But Q Sakamoto singing in Japanese back then was a monster hit, so I guess you just really never know. And with that horrible comment, let's go all the way to the right. The sixth row over there. Please identify yourself.
三菱ケミカルホールディングスの吉里と申します。今日はありがとうございます。これ海外への発信ということですけども、発見する中で我々日本にいる日本人に対しての再確認の何かプロセス、それによって我々日本が、国家という概念につながるのか、日本というものをより愛する道につながるのか、なんかそういう日本の中に向ける動きなりアクションというのはあるんでしょうか。
一番私がやりたいことは社会運動としてやっていきたいということです。そして私たち自身が日本の良さを知らないと。例えば福井のことばっかり言うんですけれども、例えばですね、今お見せできませんが網タイツ、これ日本がすごく誇る技術なんですけど、そういうことも日本人は知らないんです。それからお弁当箱を売ってるフランス人が京都にいますが、そのお弁当箱がいかにクールかということを日本人自身が知らない。私はクールジャパンの運動っていうのはまさしく日本人が日本を発見する運動だというふうに位置づけていて、もういろんなところで、そして大臣だけではなくて政務官も副大臣もいろんな、総理もそうですけれども、そういう発見のムーブメントでもあるというふうに思ってます。
So the question is, you are talking about that, how you disseminate and sending the message about the cool Japan in overseas, but how about the movement in Japan? And I think that the movement in Japan is doing pretty well because, in Japan, many people doesn't understand what is cool in Japan itself because it's very daily in their life. So, for example, I cannot tell you and I cannot show you, but my wearing pantyhose, which is like a more fishnet type. But this is a very famous and a nice product from my prefecture, Fukui. And the other stuff like obento box, the lacquer obento box. The French woman is selling a nice obento box, delicate one in Kyoto. But many Japanese people doesn't understand that what is so cool this obento box is. So this is a kind of, to wake up Japanese people to realize that how cool Japanese cultures are. So this is a great movement for the Japanese people in Japan too.
ちょっと最後に私がクールと思うものを見せていいでしょうか。
Can I show you something that I think it's really cool to you?
これは私は日本のジャパンデザインっていうのが日本のそのきめ細やかさがやっぱりこれからのクールだと思ってます。
The Japanese attentiveness to this craftsmanship is very much cool.
これだけでもユニークでちょっと可愛いんですけれども、デザインが。
これは unique and cool. You can clean up the screen of the cell phone.
それだったら普通なんですが、
It's a very
ここからメガネ拭きが出てきます。
And also we see that close to wipe that my eyeglasses.
こういうきめ細やかさをデザインしていくのが日本のクールじゃないかなというふうに。
The craftsmanship and design is a Japanese cool.
That is cool. どうぞ。
終わりです。
どうぞ。いや、本当にいいです。
いいです。
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut her, but it is time, and Ministry Inada is tight on time today, so just on behalf of the Japan Society, I want to thank Ministry Inada for coming out here to give this thrilling lecture and showing us the cool komakai small kodari part of Japan with the new products, and coming in here attired just for New York. But thank you, and also Samishima-san for being our interpreter. And on behalf of the Japan Society, I know you had a lot of choices tonight, great weather too, but thank you for coming out here. And by the way, we do have a reception right after, so if you want to talk more about Japan, network and learn more, exchange ideas, feel free. Also, we have very cool washlets at the Japan Society right out that door, but don't go home with it, all right? And I might add, for those of you who don't know, here at the Japan Society, we had a lecture from the president of Lixil, which is the company that owns Inox, the company that is one of the big toilet manufacturers. Many of you may not know, but you have a Japanese toilet in your house because Lixil bought American Standard. Yes. Imagine what your house is going to look like in a few years. Thank you all for coming to the Japan Society.
素敵な